Boy, I was just sitting inside and getting people ready for bed and showers and thought, I'm just going to catch the last bit of this sunset today. It's awful pretty, isn't it? It's so interesting to me when you look over here, you see night coming, and then you see the day ending, and look at the clouds coming up this way. There's the stars. You know, today was a really big day, wasn't it? A really big day. You're always told, like, okay, you don't have tomorrow, right? You have today, and you think you know that, and then you don't. I think I was pretty overwhelmed with what was happening in St. Simon's with the young man and being abused, and I couldn't, sleep last night. And then today, a woman came in and killed 6 people in Nashville, Tennessee, and I have a really good friend, Sheila, who is a preschool teacher at St. George's Church, and she was on lockdown all afternoon, and my heart just broke for her, like how scary that was to be there near all that happening, and just too much. And Blair didn't know that had happened in Nashville, Tennessee. And she said, Mom, the shooter killed 3 Amoses. 3 9-year-olds were killed. The head of school, a janitor, and then a substitute teacher. And one of the little girl that was killed, her father is the minister of the church, the main minister of their church, where the shooting happened. And they have 4 children, 3 boys, and their youngest was a daughter, Hallie. And she was killed today. And I don't know. I just thought, they got up this morning and they started this Monday like any day, probably like the rest of us. Boy, Easter's in 2 weeks. What are we going to do for Easter baskets? They have 4 children, 1 daughter. I have 1 daughter and 3 sons. And I just can't imagine if right now my day had started regularly, and then now I'd be sitting here with no daughter, who's 9 years old. Gosh. Just a private Christian school. And I tell you what, in Nashville, as much as they don't seem to do everything right in Georgia, at St. Simon's Island or Gwinnett County, I tell you what, they sure seem to do everything right in Nashville. Within 15 minutes, they had killed the shooter, which honestly is like the best thing I've ever heard. I'm just going to be honest about that. Blair, I think because I had heard it a while before, she was like, they shouldn't have killed her. I wanted her to suffer. And I was like, well, honey, that doesn't sound very, Christian. She was like, Mom, she killed 6 people. I said, I know, but it's so easy for me to then lecture when I'm like ready to like seek revenge on everybody who hurt, Trent. And, I think we like to think, oh, somebody's got mental illness. But, the literature is very clear that these shooters do not have overwhelming mental illness. So I think we like to tell ourselves that they do, but they really don't. And that's kind of a big thing to wrap your mind around, like it'd be easier for us to understand if they had mental illness, but they don't. Like, this woman was calculated in what she did. Yes, she was transgender, identified as a man. Do I think that had anything to do with it? Probably not, honestly. She maybe had been a student there at one point. I mean, why does there is no, we cannot wrap our minds around how murdering children would ever be a solution, you know? But I was also thinking, I can't wrap my mind around how torturing a young adult with special needs is either. Like, when did that ever, how could that ever happen? Like, where is a place in this world where that's acceptable? And I don't think we think of that as mental illness. I think we just can't wrap our minds around it. And what is it? Is the world broken? Is there, what happens? I don't know. I've never had anything in me or pushed me that's made me want to hurt people that I don't know. And 6 children were killed in a car accident in Nashville today. Lack of common sense with lawmakers and gun laws. Well, I think there's guns and lawmakers, but that doesn't have anything to do with this woman that went in there and had a plan mapped out and had 2 assault rifles and a gun. I just can't imagine harboring that much hate, especially towards small children that you don't know. Oh, and just her father trying to lead his church and suffer the loss of a daughter like that. Yeah, there's at some point where I think you're like, Lord, it's too much. I can't do this, I can't do this. But you don't have any choice, right? You either do it or you don't live any longer, Nashville just said they went to the shooter's home and she had maps of the inside of the school. She shot through a class door. Yeah, I thought that was really interesting, Vonnie, because a friend of mine in Nashville said they kept the doors locked. Like, the school was so insistent. Like, we had the doors locked. And she shot through the glass. And the private school didn't have a school resource officer. Though I think what we know about school resource officers is that, well, in Parkland, Florida, the school resource officer hid. And then in Uvalde, Texas, the school resource officer sat in the hall. So I'm not exactly somebody who thinks the school resource officer is going to save me. I do think the Nashville Metropolitan Police Department just deserves a huge hug of love. And the fire department, they had a plan in place. They got the call within 15 minutes. Like Uvalde, who was supposed to go in and stop the threat, what did Uvalde do? They stayed in the hall and did nothing because of one chicken SHIT. But in this case, in Nashville, Tennessee, I mean, those are my people. That's Southerners. They went in. 5 people went in. 2 killed her. And that's what you were supposed to do. You go in and you stop the threat and you save other people. There were 200 children in that school and 50 staff members. 200. And yes, 3 children were killed and 3 adults were killed, but it could have been so many more. She had hundreds of rounds of ammunition. It could have been so many more. Yeah, I think there's this thought, somebody said, I want more than prayers. And it's true, right? Like, you want to pray, and then you want action, and then you want to kick somebody, and then you want to drink a gallon of wine, and then you want to be pissed, and then you want to be sad, and then you want to hug your little people. It's just so much to wrap your mind around, that's happening. Hi. No, I'm on a video. I'll be in a minute. No. I'm on the video. Go into the house. Into the house right now. Okay. They reacted as quick as they did. Yes. Yeah, I'm just not going to have that conversation in front of her. We've been talking about it. I just needed a little break from talking about it with the 13-year-old. It's, if you think 2-year-olds are needy, 13-year-olds are really needy. Yes, they are. Please don't lick the door. We've just been to church, and hug your big people. Okay, stop licking the door. That's enough. Go. You need to go get your hair washed. Go on. Gosh, it is so pretty here tonight. See this 1 star? Never a solution. Murder is not acceptable. We need to address. You know, I think we have to be willing to call something what it is. Hey, Allison. Oh, it's one of my best buddies. Happy birthday, Allison. Happy birthday. I liked your video about the Trent case. You weren't afraid to speak out. You know, I don't understand, Kaylee, why there's so much fear involved with speaking these families' names in St. Simon's. It's like the police documents are redacted. Why is it such a secret? Because it's not a secret. Of course, there are names that I can't remember because they're so bizarre. But it's not a secret. I'm going to go in here and find them and read them again. Mosquitoes are out here. There's Pat Sajak. Riley Mason, Kip Agnew, Jep Ray, Lucy Gowan, Jackson Struther. The party was at his house. Rooker Hobby, Bree Lawrence. So Jackson and Rooker were easily noted in the photograph. Struther. I mean, they own the hardware store. They own everything. And somehow these families aren't used to getting called out. Well, you know what? The jig is up. Like, we're just not going to do this any longer. Because what do you want to, like, raise school shooters? Seriously. I mean, I think we're seeing what happens when people, just do what they want, you know? What? No, honey, I don't know where the ping pong balls are. Never seen anybody play ping pong alone. Keep reading them. That was all of them. Yeah, they redacted the names. I just don't know what makes me sadder. You know, I never went to bed last night. I was going to bed at 10 and somebody sent me that story and I literally stayed up all night long. I never took a nap today. I never did a thing. I worked on that story all night long. That's what I did. It's all gone national now. Good. Thank y'all for sharing and pushing. Yeah, one of the mothers works for the Brunswick paper. I mean, you know, I think the world just has to say, we're not going to do this anymore. We're not doing this. And I think when it comes to guns, you know, why do you have to wait 3 days to get a handgun and you can walk out that day with an assault style weapon? My husband loves a gun. He loves to hunt. And he is a conservative. And he's like, it is so stupid. Nobody needs to own those guns. If he says it, then nobody does. And we might say, well, you know, well, they're going to take that. They're going to take this. They are not freaking going to take your guns. You don't need an assault weapon. You do not need one. Do you realize what happens in our country? Do you know what happens? Why do we have so many more deaths by suicide? Because we have so many guns. It's just the truth. In Japan, guns, less than one, there's one gun per 100 people, and the rate of death per gun is 0.01. In our country, it's like 3.2%. it's all about the guns. And there are people that are like, well, they'll get them somewhere. Well, sure as hell's working in Japan and New Zealand. What star is that? Is that the North Star? No, because that's the West. Let's see, West. East. North would be that way. I don't know what star that is. It must be the West Star. Is there a West Star? Starlight, star bright. First star I see tonight. I wish I may, I wish I might have the wish I wish tonight. What do I wish for? Don't tell what you wish for, because then it won't come true. I think I wish for love in people's hearts. You know? I think that's what I'd like. Just love. Lots of love. Life's just too short to waste it like this. You know, I didn't think about it till right now, but my own big brother, you know, died of cancer, and he was sick for a year, and he fought so hard to live. I mean, he fought. And he died a year after he got sick. And then I think about, like, in that minute, that young woman went to that school and she just snuffed out 6 people's lives. She changed these families' trajectories forever, like for generations to come. You know, when you lose, my mom's baby brother Billy died, right? So she never got to know Billy growing up. I never had an Uncle Billy. Or I lost my brother Adam to cancer, not gun violence, but at least cancer you couldn't do anything about. You know, the idea of knowing that somebody purposefully had taken my brother from me for no freaking reason. And like tonight at dinner, I was asking a friend, we were eating at church, and I asked her if her niece looked like her daughter, and she was like, no. And I explained myself and said, you know, I don't have a sibling anymore. Like, I never got to see my kids' first cousins that I imagine would look like them. You know, I don't get these nieces and nephews. And, I mean, I do for my husband's side, but it's your own side of the family. Like, I miss that. My children don't have first cousins to play with. And when they have kids, you know, they're still going to miss that generation, that line from Adam that died is always going to be this empty hall, right, in the middle of our lives. Like, it's always there. It's never going to go away. And I think we don't really realize that, but that's the truth of the matter. And we don't want it to go away, because when I die, does Adam die with me? When you belong to this sibling that's gone, his life was so wonderful and important. I always want the world to know about him, you know? And I want my children to know about him. But at what point will they tell their children about their Uncle Adam that they never knew? You know, I don't know. I hope so. Yeah, those mothers took their children to school, which is the safest place they should be. And then here this happened. I wish for love over hate, joy over jealousy, compassion over corruption, and kindness over killing. And people that kill must be filled with such rage and hate and anger. And I don't know what you do, you know? If they had been loved a little bit more, would that have made a difference? Are the people, these children that are abusing this young man with special needs, have they been loved? They seem like they have. What causes this angst and hate? and maliciousness. I don't know. I know I don't want it. Do you have old home videos of my brother? Yeah, I do. I don't watch them very often. What can you do regarding guns and mental illness? Well, the research is really clear that the people shooting are not people with diagnosed mental illness. I think we want to say that people have mental illness when they go and shoot. I thought the same thing, Sherry. The pastor of the church lost his daughter. I mean, if there's ever been a time where the phrase practice what you preach is going to come to, I just can't imagine that God is not going to be just... My daughter's playing ping pong by herself. I think the whole news thing is on the earthquakes. I'm going to show you this picture. I forgot I had this. Let me find it. Who are you playing with? Oh, that's smart. Look at this. Look what I did. Hold on. I'm real proud of this. I switched this picture backwards so y'all could see it. How smart am I? Do you know what that means? So I'm going to read it. Oh, I can't read it to you because it's backwards for me. Y'all can probably read it. I'm going to have to go to the other one. I did two. Hold on. So this is the representative that represents the families today. And he sent out the statement, "My family and I are devastated by the tragedy that took place at the Covenant School in Nashville this morning. We are sending our thoughts and prayers to the families of those lost. As a father of 3, I'm utterly heartbroken by the senseless acts of violence. I'm closely monitoring the situation and working with local officials. Thank you to the brave first responders who have provided support throughout this tragedy." Do you think he probably feels a little bit dumb considering this was his Christmas card in 2021? Would that make you feel like a total prick? Because it would make me feel like that. How could you look somebody in the eye and say, it is more important for us to have these guns than for you to have your daughter? How could you do that? I mean, I'm just sick of them. I'm sick of guns, and I'm sick of babies losing their lives. It's just not worth it. Is it? It just doesn't seem worth it to me. Well, I was looking for the picture. I don't see it. Let's see. Maybe it's here. Memories. Library. Albums. Recents. I guess it didn't come up. I had shown all these pictures at Covenant today. But I was looking for the family of the minister's child. I don't know where it is. Well, that Christmas picture speaks words, right? It's just too much. Too much. You know, 9-year-olds are supposed to be home, watching TV, playing with Legos. Hi.
That's a Harry Potter house.
Do you like your Harry Potter house?
Yes.
Who built that for you?
Mommy.
Mommy built that for you?
Yes.
She sure did. It took her all day because she had to glue it so it would not break.
No.
Can I play with the Harry Potter house?
No.
Can I play with it, please? Let's let them see this fancy Harry Potter house. Harry, Dobby, what are you doing?
The abominable girl.
That's the abominable girl?
Yes.
Oh, there's your abdominal service dog.
No. Abominable girl.
Okay.
With the face head with snow.
Face head with snow?
Oh no.
Oh, no.
It's that abominable girl.
Okay.
Shall I say abominable? Oh no, it's that abominable girl.
Oh, no, it's the abominable girl. It's about time for the abominable boy to go night-night. Yeah. Your mama loves you, Muffin.
Mama don't love it.
Your mama do love you.
No.
Yes, she does.
No, he doesn't.
Yes, she does. She does, even if you've already grown out of your shoes. She does love you. Yes, she does. I tell you what. I'm going to go down and play a little ping pong with my turtle down there. Give somebody some medicine. Give these children lots of love and attention. Because I sure am thankful to have them, and I'm sure thankful for y'all. And if there's one thing that social media has taught me is that the world is a pretty good place. And there are really good people out there. We just have to find each other, and we have to help people find people that love them and enjoy them. And we need each other, you know? Because we have very sticky countertops with ants on them. Love y'all. Subscribers, see you in the morning, Tuesday morning. I don't think it'll be tonight because Adrian has to go to bed. Bye, y'all.